Guten Tag, hello, welcome to episode 2, aka part 2, or dos, or dva in Russian. So now I know how to say 2 in a lot of languages. Part 2 of the Beard, the Brain, the Brawn. I am Stuart, the tremendously tricep Titan Purcell. Joining me are my good friends, Zach, the witty, wily warlock mayor, and Andrew M. Herculean Hunter Bauman.
Woo.
We are here to talk about all kinds of very exciting things to us, and if you don't like them, then you don't have to listen to us. That's the way it goes. Deal with it. Anyway, we're talking about tech stuff. We are talking about movies, games, just geek culture in general. Maybe throw in a workout reference if I can manage it. And, Zach, what do we got today?
All right, so we're going to start off with Destiny Week, continuing from last week, just because when we got it, it was only about 2 days old. Only had a little bit to play it. So thoughts about it a week later?
I need to play it more.
Yeah, you do. Also, I love shooting people in the face with a sniper rifle in video games. And my knife.
I think last time
video games.
Andy did not have the game. So now that he does,
A lot of face stabbing. Just a lot of face stabbing with that hunter knife that you throw. It's really legit. One hit kill a lot of folks. I do have a little bit of beef with Destiny, and I'm glad y'all asked. So in the class description, it talks about being a lone wolf. I myself, also a lone wolf. What does it make you do?
Hold on.
Get three
Whoa,
teammates
whoa, whoa, whoa.
for strikes.
This is the impression you were raised by lions. How are you a lone wolf raised by lions?
I don't really feel like any description really accurately describes me. You really need to make like 2 or 3 man-made languages.
You're like a bear
some hand
sharktopus
signals.
of apex predators.
Yeah.
all right, I think we're getting off point, guys. Let's talk about the Easter eggs. I know that there has been a lot that's been brought up, especially from old games that were from years ago. ODST, Halo ODST, where there's a big sign that says "Destiny awaits." Do you think this was planned? Do you think this was just and it just so happens to be in that game?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, they tend to know what projects they're going to work on a couple years in advance, as evidenced by that Blizzard leak. What was that, like a year or two ago, where they had the plans for like 10 years in advance or a couple years in advance. So I think they had an idea. They might not have known exactly what it was going to be about, but I think they had an idea they're doing a space-based game called Destiny, and so they started doing little Easter eggs, little tips of the
I think if gamers know anything, it's that Bungie does not do anything by coincidence. There's always a plan. There's always, they knew it was going to happen.
Does this include the Master Chief head/building?
Yeah,
in Destiny?
Nothing about this game exists in real life. So everything that's in there, every speck of dirt is planned. So you can't tell me that, this building just accidentally kind of looks exactly like our main character from our huge franchise. Whoops, no.
Yeah, I think it was on
Come on
purpose.
now. Everyone knew what that was.
Okay, sounds good. What are you guys thinking after this? I mean, I know you guys haven't hit level 20, haven't beaten the game yet, and neither have I. I'm getting close. But as far as the storyline, as far as the overall game, how would you guys rate it?
I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's pretty good. I don't have beef like with the voice acting like some.
I think they did a good job. I know a lot of complaints is about the story mode, but let's just take in effect that Titanfall didn't have a story mode at all, and it got pretty great reviews for it.
It was horrible.
Didn't have a story. I mean, it said it had a campaign, but basically you're just playing multiplayer with a little bit of dialogue in between each game.
No, wow.
So I really think that this game brings it to a different level. I think it brings it to a Halo level and takes it into where we can now go into the future.
I think we forget that with Halo, when it first came out, you didn't have nearly the depth of story that we now have for Halo after however many years it's been. Everyone's like, well, it's Bungie. They have such great stories. Well, yeah, and I'm sure given time, it'll all develop. This game it's the first one. This is supposed to get you into the story. It's not going to be they're going to drop a Tolkien-sized amount of story on you in the first game. It's not how this thing happens. It's supposed to be episodic. It's supposed to be several games. Hell, they said it was going to be 10 years just for this franchise, maybe more. They're not going to throw all of 10 years at you in one game. It doesn't make sense.
And it's not how MMOs work.
No.
And that's what a lot of people... And you could certainly argue that Destiny's not really an MMO, and I'd be right there with you. But They're calling it a MMO of sorts, and any of the big ones you look at were never that great. The first couple weeks they were out. I mean, heck, even for the first couple months, you're gonna have your raids and your instances and your DLCs, and they're gonna continuously add stuff. I do have beef with the item drops, though. That's my only actual complaint, besides making me pair up with people. I'd rather go solo. But the really good enemies don't drop really good items. It's just completely random. I'd prefer that there was some sort of almost like Diablo-esque rule where if you have a really good creature, like a boss, he's going to drop something awesome and not a gun that I got like 3 hours ago.
Yep, I agree. I give it a 9.0. Do I think the story mode needs a little bit of work? I think so. I think the missions you go on to, I feel like we need a little bit more of an explanation, but I think it does a good job. I do. So I give it a 9.
It's a good game.
Okay, so let's move on to some of the other hot topics before we hit our actual main discussion. I know Andy's really super excited about Deadpool movie coming.
Believe it.
It has been officially slated for February 12th, 2016, Valentine's Day weekend.
I'll be there.
I'll be there with my wife as well.
I'll be there because I'm in love with Deadpool movie.
All right. Next, we got the official plot synopsis for the Avengers has been released. I don't think there's been any change than what we've already known about the movie. Spoilers, in case you really don't want to know what the movie is generally about.
Bad stuff happens. They have to fight a guy named Ultron because that's in the title. And if you don't understand that by now, go hide under a rock. And then, it's an Avengers movie. They have to assemble.
Yep, they have to assemble for a specific reason.
This is my surprise face.
Yeah, so there really is no surprise. One of the big things that I was really impressed with, going on another topic, is the Hunger Games. Finally has their new trailer, or the first trailer out. Thoughts about it?
It's good to see that PETA is still a punk, and I still hate him. So nothing's changed.
No.
Okay, I don't think I don't know. Did you guys read the books?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so we have one who hasn't read the books, 2 who have read the books. I think it's going to be great. I really enjoyed what I saw from the trailer. My stickler is it's a 2-part movie. I know this is how all these long book movies have been. They've split it up into 2. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to wait. I don't like them cutting off the movie halfway and then us waiting 6, 9, a year.
I mean, I will never complain about 2 more hours of seeing Jennifer Lawrence on screen.
Yeah, but what's going to be interesting is that the 3rd book is tonally very, very different than the first 2 books. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting to see the folks that don't know the theme change that happens.
I think it's a lot darker, and I mean, it's supposed to be a war, is it not?
Essentially, without getting into spoiler territory for the handful of y'all that haven't read it.
I mean, it was the movies. Yeah, were a little light, but the original premise is it's a bunch of 12 to 18-year-olds who kill each other.
Yeah.
It's not. It can't get much darker than that, man.
Yeah,
unless you have infants fighting to the death.
It will actually get much darker than that.
Oh, goody!
If they follow it, I mean, I'm sure they'll do some changes, but it's not going to be a feel-good movie by any stretch of the imagination.
Those are lame anyway.
All right, so if you guys are excited, please go see the movie. It comes out November 21st, 2014. And I'm sure we'll be bringing up the next trailers that come out. We'll be kind of going into those and talking more about that. Other news, Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, it's a separate show from the actual Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., has casted Edwin Jarvis. And if you don't know who that is the butler to Howard Stark, and in the comics, also to Tony Stark. And he will be played by James... Is it Darcy? Darcy. So that's pretty cool news. Other casting news, the CW's Arrow casted Digger Harkness from Spartacus to play Captain Boomerang.
Lamest bad guy ever. Just the lamest. He throws boomerangs, dude. I believe he's from the Flash's bad guy list. So it's curious that they're putting him on Arrow.
But I feel like, Green
Australian?
Arrow's my favorite character, but a lot of people say, well, he's just a guy shooting arrows. I feel like a guy called Captain Boomerang, coming into the Arrow dark-esque, they're gonna make him a good villain, I think.
I was gonna throw spiky boomerangs.
I just think he's the lamest.
That maybe explode.
All right, might be the lamest.
But I think if we've learned anything watching Arrow, is that it's good to generally trust what they're doing.
Is he gonna look dark and brooding while he throws them too?
He has this weird like flight captain's outfit that's blue and white. I just don't like him at all.
They might change it up for him.
Yeah, they might do.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
They've done a great job so far. Love the show Arrow.
Definitely.
So we'll see.
Major Addle. Yeah, you
Super
can look that up,
Smash.
folks. That's
Okay,
history
moving
right
on.
there.
Super Smash Brothers on the 3DS sells for $1 million in Japan in its opening weekend. It hasn't even hit America yet. That comes out the first week of October. I know you guys aren't excited because you guys probably don't play Nintendo
People
games
are so
nor
stupid.
3DS.
It's this Super Smash Brothers is the same as the last Super Smash Brothers, which was the same as the one before that, the one before that, the one before that, the one before that.
Yeah,
How many have they
characters,
had
too.
now? I don't care.
The first one was the best.
But yes, I think the games are really good. They just want to keep it's the same game over and over, but you're getting new characters to fight with from the Nintendo realm. And I think a lot of fans want their favorite characters, and it hasn't been represented.
How many characters are there? Nintendo has like 4 games.
You get Ripley, the little alien bird.
Don't know who that is. Don't care.
They actually have quite a bit of characters. But let's move on to the main topic and go through the kind of a preview of the fall TV shows. But we're going to focus more on the comic book shows and how much is too much. You know, right now we have Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we have The Walking Dead. We have a few shows right now that are focused on the superhero comic book genre. But now this year we're going to have Gotham added, The Flash, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, iZombie, Constantine, Daredevil, and now they're even talking about Supergirl and Nightwing, a Teen Titans show, going to be now. Is that too much?
I think anytime you have a show named iZombie, it's too much. I'm personally against anything named anything. It's stupid. And then I'm over zombies. Unfortunately, the genre seems to be as undead as the creatures in them because it just keeps coming.
Rim
back.
shot.
We had our time. We had our time with the vampires. Now we're in the zombie time. So it's gonna be a thing. But I mean, the more focus is that I think I listed, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 shows that are going to be at least 40 minutes long.
Plus the 4 Netflix or 3 Netflix for Marvel.
You know why these are so popular? Other than the fact that, yes, like comic book movies and stuff are making a ton of money. Because they don't have to necessarily come up with original content.
That's true. I mean, all the content was pretty much scripted for them.
All the writers have to do. And, do they still work? Yes, I'm sure they still earn their money. But you don't actually have to come up with anything. You take what's already there, apply it to today, problem solved. You're getting a massive template rather than having to create something off the top of your head. No wonder they're producing so many of them. You're going to get plenty of money for half the work.
It's true. I mean,
Side note, I'm thinking about making a comic book movie.
I mean, the one show that would probably be the 2 shows actually that'd be a sidetrack from those arguments would be Gotham, which takes place way before when Bruce Wayne was a kid and is supposed to focus on Jim Gordon.
Yep.
And the other show is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter. And I mean, in a sense, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too, because there really hasn't been much of a story.
It doesn't take place in like World War II times.
Yes.
I'm not necessarily fired up for that.
but you're fighting Nazis.
But luckily, that's just going to be an in-between show. It's a short. It has, I mean, it's still 40 minutes long, but it's only going to have 13 episodes, maybe. I'm not exactly sure what the number is, but it's not going to have that many.
I do like how they're doing it, though, where it takes place when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s off the air.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which they should have done for once, and Wonderland.
Yeah, for Once Upon a Time, if you need to know the full name of it. But yeah, I agree. I definitely like that feature. So I think it's too much. This doesn't even include the other shows that we like to watch that are not comic book and
Sleepy Hollow,
superhero related. He just had to
I
throw.
love Sleepy Hollow. Watch it; it's awesome.
But yeah, there's a whole bunch of great shows, and it's seeming that everyone's trying to focus on all these superhero ones. It's like, guys, can we slow it down? Let's do a show for 4 or 5 seasons, and then start another one.
I am pumped for Flash, though. That looks. I might have watched the pilot. It's really good.
Yeah, no, I've seen the pilot too. Excellent. And each week we're going to come back and we're going to do our review of the best TV shows that we saw this week. We're definitely going to cover Arrow. We're definitely going to cover The Flash, Gotham, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We probably won't get to iZombie because like Andy said,
I will not be watching it, and I watch everything.
It's something that's not going to happen. And we'll keep you guys posted on what does well and what doesn't.
Is that like a zombie that has a new version of it every year, and it's increasingly expensive, and people have like a cult around it and think it's great even when nothing changes?
Nothing.
That was an Apple riff. Sorry.
Hey, I'm a droid, but I'm not excited for it at all. I'm just not.
All right. I'm excited for Arrow. I'm always excited for Arrow.
Yeah.
You'll get to know very quickly that I'm a big Green Arrow fan. Probably one of the biggest.
When you walk past like the archery section in Dick's Sporting Goods, do you like stare?
I do. Well, I have my own bow, so I don't really have to go to the archery section to stare at my bow and think of, hey, Green Arrow.
Do you just like go out and shoot things randomly?
I do, actually.
You should.
Good. And, I mean, soon it's going to be with fire, so we're going to be really excited about that, guys.
Well,
Really
fire arrows.
Yeah, like fire arrows.
You didn't tell me this.
Yeah.
When?
Whenever.
It's the perfect answer.
Okay.
Speaking of things that don't change and they charge more money for the upgrades, the iPhone came out today.
Yes.
Phablet.
Yep, we were going to get that.
That's still phablet. I have nothing to say.
So I guess we can go right into the weekly digital fix. So yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
I think it's hilarious that the first guy to get one immediately dropped it.
On live television, and he's from Australia, so, I don't know what that says about anything, but yep, so now the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus are now available.
Yay.
Other Apple news for those who do have iPhones, iOS 8 is now available.
Don't get it.
You can get it. I would recommend getting it if you have anything over a 5. If you have a 4S, which it can get the update, I would wait a couple weeks at least, just to make sure that battery life doesn't get affected and your apps work perfectly. If you have an iPhone 4, I'm sorry, but you will not be getting the update, which is probably for the best. And those who have an iPad 2 or higher can also get the update. But like I said, if it's an older iPad, I would recommend waiting.
Why don't you like the updates, dude? A couple of my friends really liked it.
Everyone I've heard had to delete like everything off their phone, every picture, every video, everything for the space for something that doesn't necessarily change.
Well, I did hear that if you plug it into your computer while you do it, it alleviates some of the space requirement. Again, I'm a droid, so I don't know.
Yeah, and it does, and that's a good point. But a lot of people want to just do it and not have to worry about, now I have to get out my computer too. The reason why they have a tablet is so that they don't have to use the computer.
Good point.
So you have to have 5.5 gigs of space to even be able to download it. So if you don't have that, then I would go ahead and start clearing it out. Other Apple news that they have broke the record with pre-orders selling 4 million units of iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Other news, Apple has now a support page where you can go and remove the free U2 album that was announced last week at the Apple press conference. So it seems like they gave people this free copy, and if they had on their phone or iPad, if there was an option that said, always download purchases made from the App Store, well, then it just directly downloaded the U2 album. And there was no way to get it off.
Oof.
So now they have the support page.
Now you're stuck with Bono.
Other news, Android One launches in India. For those who are Android fans, Android One is basically like a low-cost phone support for a lot of it is for countries outside of the U.S. As far as Microsoft news, Microsoft to annex the next Windows version called Threshold or Windows 9 on September 30th. They've also unveiled a new keyboard, Bluetooth keyboard, that you can use with either a Windows, Android, or iOS device, which is really cool. And they also announced a wired Xbox One controller for Windows PCs. Last Microsoft news, Microsoft purchases Mojang, which is the creators of Minecraft, for $2.5 billion.
Which is so crazy since that game looks like it was made in 1990. I understand it's super popular. I think it's a neat idea, but it's just amazing.
It's really popular, especially for the young kids. And honestly, a lot of females have now started to take up this game.
Everybody loves it.
So
it's crazy.
I think Microsoft here was just trying to, get the young crowd into their ecosystem, and maybe even, try to get, the new designers, the new coders, the future into, their hands a little bit. So Microsoft's just trying to make a comeback. They feel I feel like a lot of people have been attacking them for, people say, well, iPhone or Windows 8 stinks and blah, blah, blah. But I think they're really trying to make strides to making things better. And I hope people who, I know there's the hardcore Android people and the hardcore Apple people, but just open your ears and just see what new technologies Microsoft's bringing in and how they're actually trying to be more of a cross-platform than just, Windows.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for the Weekly Digital Fix. You guys want to quickly talk about what you guys watched in the past week? Anything new and exciting?
I'm trying to think of what I watched. Finished Sword Art Online. Kind of a weird show. Mostly watched it because I had time in between the new seasons. Weird cartoon. Worth watching. First 2 seasons are on Netflix. Very Japanese show, culturally, and you'll pick up on that as they do stuff. It almost seemed like it was made by people that understood there's a thing called video games, and then made a show about it with very little working knowledge of what video games are. Any gamers out there watch it, you'll see what I'm saying. Hard for me to describe it. Worth watching. It's a pretty quick watch. Just kind of unique deal.
As far as me, I finished The Quest. The Quest ended last week. It was an okay ending. It was fine for a show that's supposed to be realistic and yet also played by actors, so it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Let's see. Finished MasterChef. I'm a big Gordon Ramsay fan, and so me and my wife tend to watch all of his shows, including Hotel Hell and Hell's Kitchen just started up, so we've watched the last 2 episodes of that this past week. Captain America 2 came out on Blu-ray last week, and so I finally got to watch that again, and I just want to say how awesome that movie is. I know that right now there's a big hype on Guardians of the Galaxy, but I think since Avengers, Marvel has definitely stepped up their A game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Captain A was great. The second one was great. Was very funny, surprisingly. Just as funny, I think, as Guardians of the Galaxy was. That's just, my opinion. Stu?
I don't know. It's been a long time since I watched them. I mean, I remember it was good. And I remember that, to my knowledge, it was still one of my favorite Marvel movies. But it's been a while. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you one way or another. I would say I probably like Captain America 2 better than Guardians.
I will be the one dissenting voice.
I'm sorry.
I liked Guardians way better than Captain America 2. Don't get me wrong.
I'll send Chris
CA2
Evans
was
to your
awesome.
house.
You what?
I'll send Chris Evans to your house.
It's fine. I'll help them make a better movie next time. It was good. I mean, don't get me wrong. CA2 was way better than 1 in my opinion. It was one of the best ones they've made. I would still prefer Guardians over Captain America Winter Soldier pretty much 6 days out of the week. The one scene with Samuel L. in the car is awesome, though. I mean, there's some great parts in that movie. Love the Falcon. I'm not a Captain America fan. He's a baby, just like Superman. It's time for good heroes. Side note, where's my new Spawn movie, Todd McFarlane? I've been waiting like 8 years.
Okay. Stu, anything you've been watching recently?
I don't really watch a whole lot of TV. I'm the outlier here. Now, don't get me wrong. When Game of Thrones comes on, please believe I will be sitting every Sunday at 9 p.m. waiting. But I don't do a whole lot of TV watching. I may try my hand at Gotham when it comes out, just because I haven't heard a bad thing about it, and everyone's just losing their mind over it.
Which, by the way, starts Monday, I think.
Does it?
Yeah, a lot of good shows start up Monday, or start up next week, and then the rest will come weeks to follow, and we'll kind of give you the update once it happens. Other than Destiny, have you guys been playing anything else?
StarCraft 2 still.
StarCraft 2? Clash of Clans you guys play,
Clash
right?
of Clans.
I'm kind of weaning myself off Clash.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No.
Every time they get out, they pull me back in.
Yeah, I think I've quit Clash of Clans now twice, and I think it's pretty much done for me.
Just saying, did we pull off a massive comeback? Yeah, we did. Were we down 30-6? Did we come back and win 34-32? Yes, we did.
Accurate.
I'm just saying, this is drama right here. This is high stakes iPhone /Droid gamery.
Man, wait till you have 300 Zerglings coming at you.
I've seen that. You beat me, remember? Thank you.
The only other game I've been playing was this new tower defense game for the iOS 8. It's pretty awesome. I would definitely check it out. I think it's just called Tower. So yeah, I would definitely.
How very boring.
Give that a ring. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, Stu.
This is my tower defense game. Is named Tower. I'm gonna have a second one called Defense. No, think of it. Awesome title. That's boring.
Offensive defense.
All right. It's titled "Don't Lose." I don't know why I'm doing that voice, but I am.
Okay.
I think you have to speak like that.
I figure that's
think
what
we're
an
getting
app
into a little
developer
bit
would
of
be.
a conversation that we need to stop. So I think that's going to be it for this week. But let's just kind of give a ring about what we're doing, where they can contact us, and where they could follow us. For me, you can follow me at Zach Mayer, MAIERZAC. I know I did that backwards. You can also
just should just throw a comment in there.
comma. Let's see. You can also find me at adigitalfix.com. That's where you can also find the podcast, the latest week's podcast.
You can find me on the Twitter machine at the Bauman, and on Facebook, the Andy Bauman. Come join us.
I'm on Twitter. I don't tweet. I use it as a news feed.
So probably
So
you
don't look for me
So
on
he
that
gets all
one.
his brony
Don't follow
news.
me. And I'm on Facebook. And then you can find me at your local LA Fitness gym.
Woo.
I will be the one lifting copious amounts of weight.
And when he means local, he only means one location.
106
I don't know.
in Michigan.
Indianapolis.
I tend to rotate.
Okay, he rotates sometimes, but it's only in the Indianapolis.
I like to,
Greater
I
Indianapolis
want
area.
as many people as possible to see this perfection. Right.
Hey,
here.
when you've got percolating pectorals,
Right?
you should share it with the world.
You should pop your pecs as much as possible.
All right. Well,
in
if
as
you
often
guys
as
like
possible.
to pop your pecs or find
doesn't?
this podcast
Who doesn't?
I pop my pecs
interesting,
randomly.
I would recommend donating to us either at adigitalfix.com. There's a donate button.
You can't donate pec pops though.
No, you can't.
Well, you shouldn't give them away for free anyways.
No. You need to get something out of it.
Yeah.
But we also have a Patreon account, and we'll get you guys that information as soon as possible. But the best way, if you guys want to give us, you want to give back to the podcast that we're giving, or
Give me your money.
do the donate page, or if you want to give us feedback about how we're doing, what we can do to improve, you can email
We're already
adigitalfix
perfect. Don't say it. Don't do
at
anything.
gmail.com, and we'll take that feedback in. Anything else you guys have to
They
say?
will. I won't.
Stay safe, people.
Yeah. Don't do anything Bound wouldn't do.
All right, guys.
And whatnot.
We'll see you next week.